Hello everybody and welcome back to Eiersholt Farm. You are joining us the day after we completed the main harvest of our 4 fields. We've baled late into the night. We managed to finish harvesting yesterday at quite a reasonable time because we had reinforcements with the class selection that we managed to get a demo for. And we're up in the barley field that was harvested by the class, collecting up bales. As I mentioned in the last episode, the plan is to actually get rid of these bales. We collected plenty on day 1. We collected, I think we have about 320 sitting in storage now. That's all stacked up, plus a few extra actually down by the total mix ration mixer. There's a couple of extra loads sitting down there. So the rest of these are going for biofuel, predominantly. The bulk of these are going to get carted out to the heating plant a little distance away from here. And in order to do that, I'm not going to be driving them on this autoloader. Don't worry, that would take for absolute ever. And well, this is still going to take a long time, but the good news is we got ourselves a flatbed trailer. The truck is sitting over here in the corner of the field, and we got the telehandler out as well. But rather than just having the telehandler racing all over the field, since we do have an auto stacker, it's a little bit easier to run out, pick up 14 bales at a time, dump them over by the truck, so the telehandler can load them onto the truck. Now, I am trying to play most things fairly realistic, but I have to admit that trying to stack all of these bales onto the truck would be exceptionally painful. So I am using a trailer which has what's called easy autoload on it. So it isn't full autoload where you just drive the truck down the field. Instead, you lift the bales up close to the trailer with the telehandler, and then they get stacked on the truck itself, a little bit more steady. There is nothing more soul destroying than trying to stack a whole bunch of bales only to find that you're knocking over a whole strip. I've done that a few times, but we have another full load here that we're just going to get dropped off here by the telehandler. There's one more job, and that is we are going to sell the first batch of 100 pigs that we've been fattening up. They're up to about 150 kilos. I think they probably could grow a bit more than where they're currently at, but we are running out of corn. We basically have no corn left to feed them in the silos. And now, they're not going to starve to death or anything like that, the pigs that are in there. But it is going to be fairly suboptimal because corn counts for about 50% of the productivity, I think it is. So in order to try and keep the additional 60 odd pigs we have in there, the younger and the smaller ones, keep them productive, we're going to try and get rid of the bigger ones. Then as soon as we got more corn harvested later in the autumn, we are going to be bringing in more pigs for fattening over the winter. But we'll stop the T7 just for now. Everything's getting really mucky. Everything's worked really hard over this harvest period here, so obviously we're also due a lot of maintenance. The baler is actually sitting down in our workshop for some maintenance because I realized that between the hay that we did in spring and the now 4 fields here, I reckon it's probably pushed through about 800 bales or something like that. So I think it's perhaps slightly overdue some TLC, but that'll be the same for a number of machineries. Once we're kind of on the other side of the winter seeding, we'll be going into a bit of a maintenance mode where we're going to be maintaining and sorting out some stuff in the workshop, both in terms of our tractors, they'll need a bit of attention, and some of the implements as well. But we've got a stack of 4 bales here. So this is the easy autoload function that I drive up to it, and then they kind of, as you can see here, they get laid out onto the trailer. So yeah, it's perhaps a little bit of cheating, but it does make it an awful lot easier while still keeping it a little bit realistic that we are actually stacking the bales out here in the field. But I'll just crack on with getting this load filled up, and then we'll be heading down to the heating plant. So we just got room for one more on the truck, so I'll just get that put over, and then we have a full stack here. I was wondering whether we should put another trailer on the back of this to speed things up, but to be honest, that's a pretty full load as it is, so I think this is quite a reasonable load to be driving with for this truck. So going to put some flashers on as we're heading out the road. We're going to be turning around and we're going to be heading up to the heating plant. So I'll just jump in cab for this first part here, and then we'll drive down towards the vehicle shop. Then we're going to turn off at the depot at the crossroads right at the vehicle shop, and then we're going to be heading out quite a bit in that direction to find the heating plant. But yeah, in terms of money, as you can see, we're sort of at 319,000, so that's sitting fairly steadily. We will be making a decent amount of money out of these bales. As I did mention in one of the earlier episodes, I have set the economic difficulty on this map to easy. That's mainly because, as you know, I'm spending time both recording and editing and everything. Progress on a map like this is probably slower than if you were just sort of playing in single player and just getting on with things. So in order to be able to try and create some progress, enable us to buy machinery, fields and stuff like that, I thought it would be better to get a bit more income from what we are doing, but then also be able to take the time to show a bit of what's going on at the same time. Anyway, we're getting to a point where we can put our foot down a little bit, and then we'll be heading up towards the heating plant. Now, as we can see, we can just slow down here as the signs coming up. There's really good signage generally on this map. As you can see, the center depot, the biogas plant, and the garden center. The heating plant is up next to the biogas. I think it's kind of part of the same facility. They can both generate biogas from silage and stuff, and then they can also use bales for burning. So that's kind of the plant that's supplying a lot of the heating energy in the area here. But we're going to be heading out along this road, see a bit of what other farmers are up to in their fields. Perhaps looks like a few of them has been through harvest as well. There's been a lot of work going on in this area in recent days. Yeah, fields on either side of this road have been harvested as well. So here's the biogas plant itself. We are just going a little bit further up the road here, and there's an entrance to the heating plant as well. Right here it's a little bit narrow, so I'm glad there's no oncoming traffic, because I have to, with this long trailer, which is also why I think it's good we don't get a second trailer coming in here. But we are going to be coming into the yard. We'll need to make a little turn in here because the emptying point is over here, and this is the only thing with the unload. Obviously we don't actually have an implement here to help us unload the bales, so we are gonna do the not necessarily perfect solution here. Well, first of all, we're gonna get the unload area reasonably lined up with the cell areas, and that's this red grid you can see on the ground there. Gonna line that up, but not all the bales are gonna sell right away, and we're just gonna push them gently with the trailer afterwards. So there we go, that's the first bunch, and you can see that's roughly the first half that we're making 12,500 out of. And then I'm gonna see if I can shunt the rest of them in with the truck. It's not really what you would what you would be doing if you're doing this properly, but we'll get them in. That's another 10,000 on top, so we're making close to 25,000 almost on one load of bales. That is a really good price, and we got several more loads to go, so we are on our way back. Although I can see that we are down to coming close to a quarter of a tank of fuel here, so we just got to remember to keep an eye on this. I mean, trucks can keep going for quite a distance on their tanks, but nonetheless we do have increased fuel consumption on now, and we almost got caught out with the harvesters. They went through quite a lot of fuel, to be honest, but we're on our way back. So that's us coming back down through the village. Let's slow down a bit here. Speed limit's typically 50 kilometers per hour in cities. We're turning off here. Oh god, there's people everywhere now. What are you all doing? Come on. There we go. We are gonna get back into the field and gonna get the guys to do the next load. So while they're working on that load, getting that ready, we're going to hop over on the farm for a bit, and we're going to have a look on the computer, see what it's going to cost to put an order in for a straw blower, and we're going to take a quick look at the state of the pigs as well, because they are going to be going later on today. But we're going to leave a couple of workers to be getting on with that, and it's not a long walk over to the farm from here. It's nice to be able to enjoy a little bit of the last greenery. I have a feeling that we're going to start seeing leaves turning, and I guess we get a chance to mingle a little with all of these pedestrians that seem to be out enjoying the weather as well today. Hello! So, we're back. It's nice. Get out and move about a bit. We're just going to head in the office and take a quick look on the computer and see what one of these straw blowers actually cost us. So one option we could consider for straw blowing is a smaller kind of front loader mounted cutter like this. But to be honest, given the size of our stable, I think this is not really gonna suit the farm. So we'll have a look at a couple of other options as well. So here's something a bit more along the lines of what I'd imagine. It's the Kuhn Primo 15070. It looks pretty decent. There's a good amount of space inside. We obviously have square bales. Some of these are optimized for round bales, but I think this one should quite happily fit square bales in it. It's a sort of fairly squarish compartment in there, and it's got a sort of moving chain floor underneath. It looks pretty sturdy, and it's 25,000 euros. There's one other on the dealership's website though. So this is the other option. It's the Anderson Pro Job 150. It's a lot more compact, so in some ways it's obviously easier to move in and out of the stable. But when you look at the chamber, I would say this is pretty much set up for round bales. That's clearly you load it into the back strap, tip it into a chamber that's pretty much shaped for a round baler. So I don't really think that's going to suit us. And on top of that, it's actually 12,000 euros more than the other one. So we're going to be putting an order in for the Kuhn straw blower. So there we go. That's 25,000 sent. to the dealership, and we'll hop in the pickup truck. I think we can pull it back with that. I'm just going to show you quickly how we're doing for the pigs as well. I have a screen here that we can look at. So here we are. This is our farm overview for the pigs, and as you can see, we have 172 pigs in total, out of a total capacity of 1,500. So the most recent arrivals of the Gloucestershire Old Spot ones, they're now up to 84 kilos. They arrived at about 24 kilos. So they're already put on a bit, and their value is about 337. That's the estimate currently based on average weight and everything like that. So that's not too bad, but those we are wanting to keep and fatten up. The ones I'm more interested in is the first batch here that we got in at the beginning of the year. They're now up to 143 kilos. I am not sure how far these go. I'm pretty sure they could go higher than this, but given that we're a little bit short on feed right now, I'm thinking that we will sell these at 503. We got them, so right now they're trading, if we want to buy new ones, at 198 euros. I think we got them a little bit more expensive than that, but it was like just over 200 or something. So we're making about 300 euros per pig, and that's 100 of these that we're going to get trucked down to the animal dealer. Whole stack down here, and they're all pretty healthy and everything like that, so no problem. So that's the other job we've got to get on with. But the only thing is, of course, that all of this is kind of dependent on our truck. So we've got to wait till some of these bales have been shifted. But while the guys are busy filling the truck, we are going to hop in the pickup here. I'm just going to have to take our Thunder Creek fuel tank off, because we're going to try and see if we can't drag the straw blower back up to the farm. Just with this, obviously we don't need the PTO just to be pulling it on the road. This Thunder Creek's been really great to be able to bring fuel out, especially to the combines. So that's been a good investment, I think. So here we are, pulling into the dealership, and I think they've already pulled the blower out front. Yep, there it is. It's actually quite large as it sits there. Let's just jump out and have a quick look at this thing. Yeah, that's easily going to fit at least 1 or 2 square bales in the back of this. So that should help us cover the cows. So the straw blower, I think we're going to put up, we got this shed across from the cow stable where we already got the feed mixer and the water trailer, and then we do have a rather large slurry spreader sitting on the side in there, but I think we should have room in here. Let's see, okay, we have a stump grinder sticking out a bit there, but it should fit in here. That'll be fine. We'll get it in here, and then we'll be heading over to see how the guys are doing in the field, whether they got the load done, whether they're ready yet. So it looks like we're arriving just as the last bales are basically going on. And that's actually good timing, because that means I can take the truck down to the heating plant, because I'm a little bit curious to see whether the price is going to hold or whether that was just a kind of first time fluke. So just getting the last bale on. Obviously there was pretty much just one load here in the barley field. There's a few bales left over that will just get picked up, but that means the T7 can head over to the oat field over on the other side of the bridge and the waterfall, and start laying up some stacks for the telehandler and the truck when it's coming back. There's a bit of rain forecast, so it'll be nice to get as many of these shifted as possible. So we're back up at the heating plant, and we'll see how the price has been holding. So that's the second load, sold for about the same again, 23 to 24,000 euros. So I'm really glad we decided to bale them up, all of them. I had for a moment thought about, after we filled 2 stacks on the first field, whether we should just chop the rest, but to be honest, it's good fuel, and it's obviously worth the effort for us here on the farm as well. So we're going to head back, pick up the last few bales of the barley field, and then move over to the oat field. We'll try and keep going. If it starts raining, we might have to slow operations down a bit, see how bad it gets. And while the truck's up delivering again to the heating plant with the almost last load of bales, the T7 is coming up to the oat field, and oh boy, there's a lot of bales to stack on here. Oh well, it's going to be good loads, it's going to be good earners. So we're simply going to get started on creating a good deal of stacks up here by the entrance to the field, so the telehandler and the truck can get them shifted fairly quickly once they make it over here. So with the 5th load cleared, there's a ton of bales left in this field, but yeah, you get the general idea by now. C7's doing quite well. It's not going to be long before the telehandler is coming over and starting to clear away some of the stacks here as well, and more bales can be sold to the heating plant. So on our way back from the heating plant here, we've just got to pick up a few bales in the barley one. The T7's already moved over and started stacking in the oat field. There are considerably more bales over there. One of the issues is we're kind of tying up the truck here. We also want to get these pigs shifted. So while I think I'm going to get the workers to deal with this, and I'm actually going to head back and give a phone down to the dealership and see if they have a truck that we could potentially lease just for a couple of hours while we are, that's big enough to be able to pull our livestock trailer, so we can get those pigs shifted down and sold off before they eat all of the remaining corn. We want our smaller pigs to be able to enjoy the last bit of corn, so we need those guys out of there now, but I'm just going to pop in and make a phone call. Right, so the good news is they had a truck that we can lease. It's costing us about 6,000 euros plus another 2,500 euros for every hour after the first one of operating. So this one, we shouldn't need it for too long. It's a nice enough truck, Tara. It would be a bit crazy to buy a second truck just for this single purpose. I mean, I have thought about it in terms of running grain and everything like that, but before we spend a lot of money on more machinery right now, I think we need to expand the actual farming area first of all. That's our trailer hook done, and this truck seems okay. We've got all the connectors in. So we got there in the end, and it's time to get some pigs loaded up on this truck. we got our full load of pigs on board. They look reasonably happy to be getting out of here. It's looking a bit empty in there, although there's still quite a few around here on the outside. We've got to start herding a bit more probably to get the right ones next time around, but this first time it was quite easy to separate them out at least. So we'll get this first load taken down to the dealership. So we're just coming into the village where the animal dealership is. Make sure we don't run over any pedestrians here. Now, I kind of got okay with making this turn as long as there's no oncoming traffic in the other truck. So I'm hoping I can repeat this with this one. You got to make it really wide swing, preferably avoiding taking out the animal dealer sign. But there's a kind of, yeah, you can see it through the day cab window here actually. That box, kind of electricity telephone box right there, distribution box. It's very easy to get the trailer snagged on that if you don't take that turn wide. But we made it through, and it's time to sell our first lot of pigs here, see what we get for them. So, total income for that first trailer load is 18,106 euros. We'll confirm that. Excellent. So that's not bad. I think our initial purchase was in the region of, what was it, about 200 a pig. So it would have been about 6,000-7,000, and we're making 18, so we more than doubled our money at least. That's pretty good. And like I said, I think we could have kept them longer if it wasn't for the fact that we're starting to run low on feed. In the meantime, the telehandler and the truck has made it over to the other field where there's a large stack of bales waiting to get loaded. This larger bale stacker was also purchased for this purpose, being able to shift quite a few at a time, and it's turning out to be quite handy for this job. Being able to stack 4 on the truck in one go makes a lot of difference. Meanwhile, we got the second load of pigs sorted out here, just checking that everything's okay. Obviously we don't want to injure animals even during transport, which is why we take it a bit easier when we're driving with livestock. So as the second load dropped off, they're just getting sorted out in here at the animal dealers. We're just loading the last of the bigger pigs in. As you can see, we're getting up to, we've got 3 left here, 2 and 1, so that's all the 140 plus kilo pigs loaded onto the trailer, and the other ones are up to 84 kilos. We're going to leave those in and keep them for fattening. So in the last load we had slightly less pigs. We're still getting 14,000. So in total that means 2 times 18,000 plus 14,000 makes 50,000, and I reckon we spent about 20,000 on getting the pigs. So that's a profit of 30,000 in the space of less than a year, much less than a year. And we can scale this up quite significantly. We have room for 1,500 pigs on Eiersholt. I don't know if we're going to get 1,500. I don't think we necessarily can feed that many. But it's certainly a reasonably profitable business. And we got the grain now, the canola and the wheat. So we just need the corn in. And then we will be running young pigs in the other direction up to the farm for fattening. So here we go. Our first bit of straw is getting laid down for bedding here on Eiersholt. Up until now we've just left them on grading. I imagine it'll take a few bales to fill this decently, but this is just a kind of first try. Okay, we have a second bale in here, of course, so it only counts one at a time. So we can move up a little bit further, I think, and actually get a decent cover straight away in this table. That does mean, okay, I think we're full. Let me just check. So yeah, it's 6,286 litres of straw for the cows, and the barn is covered now. That's good. So that obviously means they start producing manure instead now, and we have to think a little bit about what we're going to do with that. But since the rain is on, I'll just hop out and at least close the door up this end here. Hope it's not too close. No, to our nice new machinery here. Okay, so we're back, and it's actually the next morning. I worked fairly late into the evening to get the whole field cleared here. No bales left out on the field. The stacker was working hard bringing them up, and ran back and forth out to the heating plant. There's one more load to go out to the heating plant, and then, well, and then there's 4 bales left over. We're just going to take those back to the farm, to be honest. At this stage, because we got some rain last night, as you can see, if I just hover over it, we're down to about 3,500 litres per bale, so they have started shrinking, rotting a bit. So I'm just going to get this load out to the heating plant. As you can see, we're up to 570,000 euros, so we have made an absolute ton of cash on bringing these bales. So last run out to the heating plant, and then we'll get those 4 stacked, and that'll basically be us done for today. But as we're heading out there, I think a plan is forming. We made so much money out of this that I'm starting to seriously think about being able to buy a field that potentially still has crop on it that we could harvest. And I'm actually thinking of the field sort of more or less right across from the farm on the other side of the village. It is a big field, and it does cost 660,000 euros. So we would have to take out a little bit of a loan, but I think that will be okay because it will be temporary. We could sell the crop off it. We have a lot of grain sitting in silos, so we wouldn't be in debt for very long, because I don't want to end up with a huge amount of loan interest going out every night and kind of hollowing out our money. But I think that is a genuine plan, so it may very well be that in the next episode the first thing we're going to be doing is to be buying that additional field. It's amazing to see the change out on the horizon just as we come up to the heating plant here. The trees are definitely starting to turn. We are into mid-autumn now, so if we are going to go ahead with this plan of buying a field, we better do it soon as well. But we'll see how much we get for this first. So there we go. Last load of bales, for now at least, sold. And that took us up to 590,000 euros. That's pretty important. Now, we did sell pigs as well, and we would need to be able to repurchase them at some point once we get our corn harvested. And on top of that, we do still need to buy a corn header. And that is going to cost a bit of money. So we are going to have to borrow probably close to 200,000 if we are going to buy a field. But for now, I'm heading back to the farm, and I think it's a good time to wrap up the episode. In the next episode, you'll see what we get up to in terms of buying fields. But for now, it's thank you very much from Overcord Gaming, and see you again soon.